dominant forms of hip-hop, fin, bubblegum-like, hollow, shallow, stimulating body, no stirring, no soul, which is very, very sad because young people need soul-stirring music.
Yo, what up? Luxurious. Drums and ammo.
Ghetto, gifted, Ammbaataa.
It's Ammbaataa, baby.
Check.
I see you. What's up?
Ooh, I just bust a quick move.
You just pulled it together. I just...
No, seriously, I was like on the floor, still in my pajamas.
You were in full lounge mode.
It was really good that I checked my Instagram too, because I deleted the app on my phone.
Oh, you did.
And I was like, let me check my Instagram, and I seen your message. I was like, yep, I got to keep my word.
So you trying to like give yourself some space off the Instagram?
Yeah, I'm like, I just realized I have a problem. I have a strolling problem on Instagram. I feel like the app is like really stimulating for me, and I don't think it's very healthy. But I'm like fighting in between like trying to promote myself as an artist and being on the app, and I don't listen to myself when I tell myself to get off the app sometimes, so I have to delete it altogether.
Yeah, that's my struggle. That's my struggle too. Especially when you got like 3 or 4 different accounts, you know?
Yeah, I really don't. I'm not a fan of how much I'm holding my phone to be on Instagram. It's really kind of distracting and like hindering to being creative.
Oh, yeah, I know. And it's such a I guess like a necessary evil. You feel me? It's part of the whole process. You feel me?
A necessary evil. I like that.
I mean, it's so crazy.
Those
anyway,
definitely exist.
Let me give you the proper intro. So this is DJ Ambush with This, That, and the Third podcast. I'm sitting here with my homie Jaji Preme, South Central Emcee. I met her in Oakland. She had a stay out here around in Oakland for a little bit. I met her through my homie Squatter Bambino of Main Attractions fame. He's kind of moved away from Main Attractions, but you know, for the sake of the interview, I'll throw it out there. You good? You all right?
It's a bee right here. It's a wasp.
You gave it that
It's just
look like
flying back and forth.
you gave it that look like, yo, this is serious. Anyway, yeah. So I'm sitting with Jaji. We done a little bit of work. We did a little bit of work.
Yes, we have, Ambush.
We got a lot more to do, but I wanted to check in and just give some history, give a little background. You know, like we talked a little bit at the studio. I mean, like it feels like we've caught up a bunch of times, but it really was only probably about, I don't know what, 3, 4, maybe 5, 3, 4, 5 times.
Maybe like 3, 4.
Yeah, like that the most. You know what I mean? Keep it real. But I mean, there were good sessions. You know, I got a little bit of history, and I remember we talked about some of the MCs you grew up with, and you mentioned Bahamadia being one of them. And I thought that was kind of. Didn't you mention Bahamadia? Or am I?
I think you were trying to tell me about her.
Oh, maybe I was. Oh, you know what it was? One of my homeboys was he was managing her at the moment, and I recommended you to maybe that's what it was. Maybe I was trying to check and see if you familiar with her. But well, give me some of the early influences, because to me you're one of those younger MCs that got that you got an old soul, and it feels like you had some kind of influence over like you had folks that were sprinkling you with some of those classic properties, hip hop properties. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like just give me some info on some of those early jump offs.
Honestly, I grew up with my grandparents, so I didn't really have, like, I skipped a generation of music. You know what I mean? Like, and my grandparents listened to a lot of like church music. You know what I mean? I believe when I was in the womb, my mom was listening to a lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire though. As of late, as of like the past year or so, I found myself to be tapping in with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and it's just like, how do I know these songs and I haven't been listening to them? You know,
that's crazy.
So I feel like the message that they brought is something that resonated with me before I had the consciousness to even put it into words. You saw that, B?
I saw that. That's crazy. I saw it.
Before I had the consciousness to put it into words, but honestly, some of my earliest like rap influences, I could say were like Overdose, the Cool Kids. The Cool Kids is like probably the main group. Like some of my first raps, if you type in T. Lewis on YouTube, 93 Classic, you hear this record and it's heavily Cool Kids influence, like heavily. I really wanted to sound like Sir Michael Rocks. I really liked the style that they had because I feel like at the time that they came out, it was a lot of like lean with it, rock with it, baggy pants. You know, the South was doing their thing basically, and it was fun. You know what I'm saying? But the Cool Kids came with this refreshing feeling, and I was like, oh, like this is what hip hop feels like. It wasn't, you know, so like back in the day where I couldn't connect with it as a freshman in high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's so like the perfect. That's like the perfect.
The old.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. They're like the perfect group because they pulled from the old, and then they handed off to younger cats. So they became like a bridge. And even me being older, like I could recognize them and see what they were doing as them being younger at that moment, and then pulling from older influences. That's tight. That's hella clean. Cool Kids.
Yeah.
I want to guess that though. I want to guess that.
The Cool Kids, and then I feel like at one point in my life, I wanted to be signed to Young Money.
Oh, okay. Oh, no,
so I say that to say like Lil Wayne was obviously a huge influence in 2008, 2009 era. Continuing on, I started listening to Drake. There was Common, there was Kanye West. You know, things of that nature. I just wanted to hear something clever.
Straight up. But I mean, like, yeah, all those artists are artists that I would consider students of hip hop. You know, like
right.
Like they're not just stepping in without really doing the research and really doing the investigation and kind of curating their style based off of earlier influences, you know, maybe 90s and, you know, stuff of that nature.
Right. And I feel as though because of my upbringing, because I was brought up in a church household and just the kind of kid I was, like I got into trouble, but I also wanted to do the right thing. And I was really shy and I didn't like feeling like I would get in trouble for anything. So I felt as though if I was going to, you know, make these lyrics or write these songs, in a sense, I would want it to be something like, okay, if my grandma heard this, she wouldn't be like embarrassed or mad or be like, okay, what did you just say? Or like, I have some lyrics like that now, and it's grown as I've gotten older because I'm an adult, you know, and I'm gonna grow. But that's essentially like kind of where it started from. It was like, have something to say, you know what I mean? Like, and if you're gonna give it to the world, like make sure it reflects something that you'll be proud of and not shameful of.
Yeah, for real. No, I think everything I do goes through that filter. It goes through the filter of my grandparents,
right,
my brothers, everything. You know, Instagram, anything you see on Instagram from me or anything, it's went through a filter of so many different people. Like before you see it, it's already like I'm thinking like, oh, what would they think if I put this? What would they think if I posted this up? You know, like even as I, you know, like I got homies that wear drums and ammo. Like I think of, you know, like I'm thinking of Jaji when I'm posting something. I'm thinking of everybody. And I don't know if that's a good thing, but that's just the way I've always kind of maneuvered with my art. I always wanted to be able to feel like I could put it in front of everybody and feel good about it. Do you have any?
Exactly.
Well, I was gonna ask about mentors, but I want to get more into the history. So you grew up with your grandparents. Wow. So that meant was it a musical family, or was it more like did they listen to music in the crib, or did anybody play, or was it just no? She's just shaking her head like no.
Nope, it was not a musical family.
Mm.
It wasn't a musical family in a sense where like my grandma, she listened to the news a lot. And my grandpa, I'm not gonna lie, my grandpa played music. He had this one album called by the Blackstreet Boys. If you take your love away from me, I'll go crazy. I'll go really say, dun, 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 dun. Oh baby, don't let it go.
You mean Blackstreet?
Yes.
You said the Blackstreet.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You confused the Blackstreet Boys.
See, I'm too young.
No, but that's tight though. Like a whole. That's like if they.
Yeah, so that was like the one. That was the one thing that my grandpa played that wasn't church music. That I really appreciated when we were like on road trips. But outside of that, we were a basketball family.
Okay, cool. It's
you know, I'm like,
I would say Blackstreet are probably influenced by church though. You know, like they probably have a lot of their foundation is probably in church. I'm just jumping to conclusion, but so you said you said you're a hoop family. What does that mean?
Yes. So I was playing basketball from second grade all the way up until college.
Okay.
And I started rapping in 2008, but I didn't really, and I was really good. I'm not gonna lie, like I was good right when I started, but I didn't tell anybody I rapped until probably like 2013 or 14, because I was very much stuck in my basketball image, and you know, being very tall and a female and not really knowing yourself yet, you have like this image thing going on with yourself, where you're afraid to put yourself out there. And any girl that's tall before they grow into their body understands what I'm talking about. You kind of feel like really awkward in your skin, and you know, it just is what it is. But yeah, I played basketball for a very long time, and that was like what I was known for and my identity in this world.
So you were kind of playing, and you were just rolling with the as your identity was kind of connected to hoop. You just kind of rolled with it. I feel it.
Yeah, I was afraid to step out of that identity for a really long time.
Yeah, I had that too. Like hoop. That hoop was my thing. Hoop was but I always DJ. Like I always DJ through all of it. But hoop was the thing that my family would be like, yo, you know, Pop's like, yo, man, you know, T's out there busy, you know, like talking about basketball, but I'm like, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Do you have any mentors right now? You have any mentors?
At the moment, no, I do not. Not any like hands-on. I feel like I'm kind of doing a lot of stuff by myself. But yeah.
Have you had any in the you know past that you can remember that kind of maybe helped you develop into becoming an MC?
Honestly, as far as music goes, no. Okay. As far as like a lot of things go, no. Okay. Like I said, when I did music, I didn't tell anybody that I did music.
I got you. That's right.
So I was kind of just sharpening my skill like by myself. And I knew I liked good music, so I knew it sounded good. So I just kind of kept going.
I feel it.
Yeah, I just kind of go based off the feeling.
So what was when you first got in the studio, who or what gave you so you thought you knew you were official from the gate. So when you got to the studio, you just put the stamp on it and you knew it was good, or when you got in the studio the first time?
I knew it was good. The only thing I had to work on was like finding my voice and my flow. But the words for me understanding that I'm just now starting, I knew it was really good. But I had a couple of homies, and no, actually, okay. So I told I don't know how, but like this guy I met, I think at some after school program, he openly rapped and I would hang out with him a lot. And he was like really good at freestyling. And this was probably in my sophomore year in high school, maybe sophomore or junior year. But you know, I was just kind of hanging around them just because they were rapping, but I never really like took advice from anybody about what to do.
Jeff was like, man, I'm good. I heard, man. I interviewed one of the homies. One of my homie, you know Hamza? You know Hamza?
Yeah, Hamza's insane. Hamza is so insane. Like, he blows my mind every time.
He's out of here. But I talked to him the other day, and you know, he pretty much, you know, he's humble. He's a humble cat, but he was like, man, you know, when I started, I pretty much knew I was pretty official, you know, like he was like, I didn't, but at the same time, it's the same thing. He said it still took him a little bit of time to develop the voice a little bit, but pretty much, you know, he knew he was dope from the beginning, and he could tell, he could see what he was doing compared to the cats around him. You know, he's kept it real, you know, like
right.
So how long did it take for you to develop your voice?
I would probably say like over the span of a year. Probably over the span of a year. Yes.
So yes, a year. Is that just from like recording? Just recording, going back to the crib, listening, like performing? Like that's a whole nother discussion. But what
so
helped
performing?
You? Yeah.
Performing, I didn't perform my first performance probably until 2015 or 16.
Okay.
Now that was a whole nother beast.
Yes.
My energy did not match the lyrics in my own perspective, you know, because you don't really want to stand there and just be rapping and not moving your arms or anything. So I definitely had to go through that phase, and that was probably like a 2-year thing, you know, getting performances when I can. But I feel like I really took off as an artist, like, and really got comfortable. That's why I tell people I'm from Oakland, because I feel like I became who I feel like I really am in Oakland. Like, I lived in Pittsburgh and I grew in Oakland because of the community that's out there, and because of the platform that they provided for me to be myself and grow into that, and it be accepted and see how it lives in the world.
And
like, Oakland gave me my confidence as an artist.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Definitely.
You almost bring it. No, because it's crazy, because I talked to are you familiar with Astu?
Maybe by face. I'm kind of bad with names.
No, it's all good.
Anybody listening?
I'm not.
I'm bad with names. Don't take it personal.
I'm just not, because I always think I'm connecting everybody. Like I probably at some point linked y'all up on Instagram, like, yo, you need to check. But she said the same thing. Like, she was living in San Jose, and she said she came to Oakland and really found her like community, found people that really connected with her spirit and really allowed her to really kind of open up and expand to become the artist she is. So it's just a trip hearing,
right.
like, it's good hearing that Oakland could be kind of like a breeding ground for folks to come and really experiment and realize that folks are open.
Honestly, like, if I go anywhere in the world, if I'm in Oakland, I'd be like, okay, I was like raised in Pittsburgh. But if I go anywhere in the world, I'm like, I'm from Oakland.
Like, that's where I was born.
Like, it's just because of the person that they're meeting was created in Oakland. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's really important to put that out there.
Damn, that's hella high. That's tight. So you started releasing stuff according to iTunes. It looks like your earliest recording was like 2015.
What song? Do you know a song? Probably.
As far as like
Yeah.
putting out to the world type of stuff.
Yeah.
Generally, 2015.
Yeah, because I recorded. I remember I recorded one of my. Yeah, Paradox. You're probably talking about Paradox or like West Side or something.
Okay.
That's when I started like debuting myself.
So you've been sprinkling out singles for a couple of years.
Yeah. This is true.
See, I know you got folks that are like, man, what's going on with it? You just. I like how you do it though. You just really just. Here goes one. Wait a couple months. Like
Honestly,
you almost like
like
an old school vibe.
It's honestly intentional and unintentional all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with me being in the space where I can constantly create and feel it's just balancing life and music. And a lot of what I do, like if I don't feel good, I can't create. I don't read a lot of books.
Mm-hmm. So
my reference for things are kind of small in the sense where like I'm not really pulling from anything that's outside of myself. So when I'm not connected with myself, I'm not creating anything in the sense. So I feel like alignment is something that's been really big, like a big lesson for me, and something that I've been like striving for, and just connecting all the dots as far as like being an African American and an artist at the same time.
Yeah, it's those two together are a trip. It's a trip, because you really are like, it's a push and pull thing, because you want to be able to like really you have to express yourself, but then at the same time, we're promoting our art. We're promoting. It's tough though, because I know like just the last couple months I've been tripping off like just how the strength of like hip hop, like you'll have fools really getting killed, like people really die over this. And it really just kind of reminds you that this music is like tribal. Like this isn't like it, but it's more. It's a culture. It's more than just.
It's very, very tribal, and it's very intuitive. Like even down to like all the gang signs in the music video that they be throwing up, like that's very intuitive, like to the African, like hand mudras and like and I don't know. I feel like our culture is definitely being capitalized off of in ways we don't notice. But it's a magnet.
It is. No, it is.
I guess. Would you call that a necessary evil?
Necessary evil. It is. So we talked about. Let's talk about South Central. Let's talk about South Central. Let me like give me a snapshot of
South Central
of your area.
So I was born in South Central, and the area that I grew up in for a very small amount of time was called the Jungles. It's probably like 5 minutes away from Crenshaw and Slauson. It's a very tough area, honestly, in a sense where it's very much polar opposite from Oakland. I have seen recently, a group of people, trying to bring positivity into the space, especially after the whole Nipsey Hussle thing. But people are very much closed off, and it's very much, you gotta get it how you live it, and don't get in nobody's way while you getting it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was born in Los Angeles, and I moved to Oakland first, but I moved to the Bay Area when I was in the first grade. Yeah, so it was very early on, and due to the environment that I was in, that I was surrounded by, I I know my mother felt circumstances to the environment, and it kind of propelled me to move to the Bay rather than staying in LA. You know, that moving with your grandma story that most of us have.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I feel it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so
yeah.
So, but did that influence your musical like taste?
So when I left LA and I was living in Pittsburgh, and I recognized, I was like, hey, like, you were born in LA, like, check out what comes out of there. A very large influence on my music for a while was Dom Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's from South Central, Leimert Park, and I just love him. I honestly love him. He's like one of my like favorites. He's honestly in my top 5, like my personal top 5, as far as like influences go.
No, I mean that's he represents LA. You know, he's a LA, like the embodiment of LA to me.
Mm-hmm.
Plus he got, you know, he keeps raw music straight up. So as far as like during the pandemic, have you been productive? Have you been, you know, I know you've been sprinkling a couple songs over the last year or so. Are you still like, are you trying to keep any kind of consistency as far as recording, or even a better, like, before you even get to that, if you did become active, how long was there a break between the pandemic starting where you had to kind of get your energy back up to record, or was it just an instantaneous? Was there a break?
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely a break. You know, like worry. I sometimes I wish I was that type of person, but like worry and like fear and like bad situations, they don't motivate me to create. Like, they honestly, like, they make me like pause and like be like, okay, what's going on, rather than like, okay, let me produce. Honestly, I don't work in that way. So there definitely was like a very long pause in trying to figure out, you know, what was next, because I drove for Lyft, so my income was connected to the people, honestly, and like it was dependent on people having to go places. So when it stopped, personally, I was just like, whoa, like, I low-key don't have a job right now. So but you know, I kept it going. You know, I kept pushing it. There was like days that I was working, and like I'll probably only get like 4 rides in like 4 hours type of thing. Like, so, you know, I kept going, and then I let the fear die down, in a sense, and that's, you know, that's when creativity comes in and like flows best. And I was able to eventually, I was actually able to meditate myself in a good enough spot to manifest some money, to, you know, buy my own microphone and create in that way. And I was able to produce, you know, a lot of cool records with my homie Justin Castor.
Is that who did?
And I feel like, you know, after that time.
Oh, go ahead. This is a delay on the thing. Go ahead. Come on, let's go.
What'd you say?
I said, go ahead. There's a delay right here, but you could go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I just felt like, okay, yeah, like after it kind of died down and I was able to, you know, create within my abode. You know, the ball started rolling, and you know, I continue to plan on, you know, giving them little sprinkles, but eventually I plan on concentrating on my visuals, like very soon before the year is over. We should have a couple of new visuals.
Do you have any? What's your daily ritual? Like, do you have any like something to set the day off, just to kind of ground you and to prepare you for the day? Do you have anything that you do?
So I get into these moods where I do my rituals or I don't do my rituals.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of us do, but I do find it best when I wake up and I write down a specific affirmation 100 times before the day starts. Like writing it down with blue ink and my composition notebook, so I can set the tone and set my mind to be in the space of receiving, you know, something that I actually want.
Man, that's great. That's a good one. That's crazy because I've been reading this book and they pretty much was like, yo, you need to come up with your affirmation and read that every day and pretty much project like this is what I want to do or this is what I want to give off. Like mine is generally being like I want to be able to really pay attention to people and make them feel like they're kind of like the only person in the world. Like I like people. I notice when you can talk to some
Right.
people and they can really give you the energy. Like yo, like I'm really paying attention to you 100% right now, and I'm not distracted.
Hey,
So that's my affirmation that I read.
I would really like some guidance on that because I feel like at this now moment, I'm really trying to find that line between like what can I give to people rather than like what I'm asking them to do for me. I'm not really a fan of all this asking that comes along with being an artist. Like, I feel like we ask a lot, like, hey, listen to this, hey, buy this, hey, do this, hey, like this is me, but like I'm really curious on how to like start giving back more and like making people feel like I value their attention and I value who they are and like things of that nature.
That's true. I almost feel like.
And DMX said.
Go ahead.
DMX said if you keep giving, you will never lack anything. And because of the career that he has and the things that he's done for people, he's never felt like he's lacked anything. So like, I'm just trying to tap into that energy and reciprocate things that I ask for.
It feels like artists used to be able to pull that off to a higher degree, like not in the 90s and 80s. I don't know. It feels like, I mean, just from the quantity of music is so crazy right now. Just there's so much music that it makes it harder to really kind of do a deep dive into everyone you listen to, or to really kind of connect. So it feels like, like if you grew up with like Tribe Called Quest, or if you grew up with like, I don't know, Big Daddy Kane or whoever, some of these classic cats, you really had time to really sit with them, really kind of understand their ideology, what they were trying to get across. And you could do a little bit of research. Of course, there wasn't internet, but you could read on them. You might see a video here and there, but just musically, you were able to really kind of become more pulled in with the music, which that might be something that as a new artist, you might be having a feeling of like, man, how do I connect with the people that are like really supporting me? Like, how do I, like you're saying, like, how do you give back to them? Because now it's just Instagram. Can you buy my single? Can you buy my shirt? Can you buy my jacket? Whereas back in the days, you had time to really kind of
it's like right now.
It's rugged. It's rugged.
Yeah, I'm trying to bypass that right now.
So what's the what's the newest plan? So now you're on the visual. This is what you're doing right now is the visuals for the last songs you released? Or is that
Well, I have a few more singles.
okay.
I have a few more singles that I'm gonna release, and then we're gonna be on the visuals. Then I'm not dropping anything. I feel like any new songs until I probably do all my visuals, because I feel like I want to drop a project, but I don't have enough fans right now for a project. And I feel like there's people who know how to, maneuver that. Like, for instance, like we could look at the TDE camp. They concentrated on albums, and over time it worked for them. But I mean, I don't really have the resources or the knowledge to like understand how that really works. And I feel like right now, in like the day and age that we're living in, it's okay for me to drop single after single, because it kind of gets off the illusion that I haven't disappeared yet, rather than me trying to push the same album over and over to my platform. Like,
oh, that's crazy.
So yeah.
So what
I haven't had like a team in this thing like for a really long time.
So you had
trying to figure that out.
At one point you had a squad.
No, I said I've never had a team.
Oh, you never had a team.
Never had a team. Never really had a squad, like a serious one.
Yeah.
Like there was like homies that rapped and we hung out, but like it wasn't like it wasn't like substantial enough to like, okay, this is point A, this is point Z, this is all the steps in between to do what we're trying to do right now.
Yeah, no, I know how it goes. We had a label back in 2010 called Sweetbreads, and that's when I met Squatta with Main Attractions, and we dissolved that like 2015. We shut it down. We shut the label down, and man, I could tell the difference. Like it having that team for a couple of years and not having that squad is like, man, it's a trip. You just gotta, you have to find a way to kind of build it back up. And you can come, like the way I was really used to having cats doing stuff. Like I would do a beat, record it, and then the next day it'd be a video. I had nothing to do with it. I just get a link in the email. Oh, the video got done.
Right. Right.
But not having that now is rough. Yeah.
That's something I'm like really yearning for. But like, I don't know.
Hey, that's what I'm trying.
I don't know if I'm doing enough to make somebody want to invest in me.
You sick in the head. 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 I'm telling you. People, I mean, I know in my circle of people, you are one of the favorites in my circle of folks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not even trying to gas you. Like this is just, like I know in my tight-knit little crew, you one of the ones that we're really trying to like push around in our respective corners. So
Aww.
No, that's real. No,
I'm about to cry.
No, I mean
I really appreciate that.
No, drums and ammo. That if drums and ammo gets up to where it needs to be, you are who I'm trying to like work with, straight up. Like that's what this platform is, really. And I'm about to start. I got to start putting out more music, so that's another thing, So that'll be something we can build on sometime in the future. But I want to get into the hidden gem. What's the hidden gem? Like I know you do music. I know you're an artist. You got the vibes. What's something else? Give me something else that is not being promoted on Instagram that makes you who you are. Like whatever it could be. I don't like throwing out examples, but I'm gonna just say like, like bike riding, cooking, painting. What's that other thing that really like get you going?
Oh my gosh. So I'm a Gemini. And if anybody knows anything about Geminis, we're kind of into like a little bit of everything. What's that saying? Something of all trades, but master of none, or something like that.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, like I'm kind of one of those people, and I kind of just feel my way through things. Honestly, like I do feel like music is the gem about me. I enjoy making people laugh. That's something I really like doing. I do know that I can dance, but that's something that I want. That's something that I want to grow over time as I have the space to do it. I would say dancing, meditating, if that counts.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Let me see. Like I said, I played basketball for like 13, 14 years straight.
No, that's a gem.
And I just made this necklace. Not this one, but I just made this necklace. I don't know if it's like really anything that I want to like start selling, but I definitely have like a creative eye that I just try and like sprinkle in different places at times.
There's nothing wrong with that though. Like I stumbled on this one clip talking about Childish Gambino, you know, Donald Glover, and it really kind of stemmed from the homies, the Jealous Guys, put a video out a couple of days ago, Raindrops, and I love that video. And I basically was telling them that
the intro to that song is so fire. I wish I would have found that intro. It's so deep. Like I love that intro.
Damn. But so I was watching that video and I told them like I hadn't really watched the video that many times back to back since This Is America, you know, when Donald Glover did that. Because, you know, I watched that, man, that just like, that was one of those moments when that video came out. That was one of those, we don't have a lot of those either, when it was like everything stops and everybody's on the video. Like, so I was telling them like, the last time I watched the video consecutively, you know, multiple times, it was This Is America. So that's when I went and I was like, let me watch it again. So I went back and checked it. Then I stumbled over this video where they said that he's kind of a master, a jack of all trades, but a master of none. But I'm like, man, you know, he's a comedian. He's full comedian, like stand on stage and nothing happening with a mic. And he's funny.
Right.
He's a writer. He's a rapper, singer, do a whole singing album. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Like I hear that phrase, but I don't know if I agree with it. I feel like that's like some old school shit. You know what I mean? Like some old school in the 50s, 60s, jack of all trade, man. But I'm like, this is 2021. Like, I remember, you know, when people said, oh, Kanye West can't rap because he's a producer. That's the craziest. You know, like, oh my goodness. Oh, he can't rap because he makes music? That's wild. You know what I'm saying? So my point of that whole little thing is that you can do everything that you're trying to do. You feel me? You can do it, and you can. And this is my opinion. You know, I'm not. You know, but I feel like you can do everything, and you can excel in all of it. You know, especially if it's and it's all art. It's all art. You know, most of the homies that I know do music, they do some kind of painting or do something else. They do a lot of other things. So. All right. Well, so the visuals are on the horizon. That's the next thing. Are there any, like, as far as your production, where do you feel like, you know, I feel like you can get on anything, you know, like I've heard you ranging from whatever. Is there any kind of like production style that you're kind of striving for, or do you hear something that's kind of pulling you in that particular direction?
I do like rapping on anything, but I have to be inspired to do so. For anything in my bag and like really, you know, thinking my bars out entirely. But I do like I'm sorry, there's a bee on my leg right now. What the Lord. Oh, okay. It's chilling now.
Okay.
It's literally sitting right next to me. Oh, it's another one.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That purple got everybody in the zone. Got that flavor. They're like, man, we trying to kick it.
The castor oil, like.
All right.
I got like 2 bees next to me right now. I'm just like, but can you ask me one more time? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, is there any production style that's kind of like pulling you in that particular direction?
I'm kind of like weird. It's really hard for me to describe what I like rapping to. I like heavy 808s, but like the grimy samples at the same time, like the grimy old school samples. Like when those two are mixed, like the new school with the old school, like I'm really in my bag when it comes to that. You know, I like the mystical additives, you know, like the bright synths and some of the dark synths too. Drives my creativity to like really produce what I want to produce, or is like bass and hi-hats. Like the bass and the continuous hi-hats, like if you just gave me a beat with that on it, like I could probably go crazy on it. Like
no. That's what I'm sitting here.
That's
like
one of my favorite things.
Do you like being in the studio, or do you like being in the crib? Like if you could have it anyway, like ideally, would you like to be in the studio sessions, like kind of like that vibe, or inside the crib?
Well, I definitely don't go to the studio unless I have something to say. I'm not really one of those people who book a studio session with an engineer or a producer and I sit there and I write with them in the room.
Yeah.
I tend to go into the studio after I already have everything that that I want to say, so I could go in there and knock it out, you know. I'm really a fan of recording at home first. As of lately, as this like past year, and as I've like grown as an artist, I don't really like writing my lyrics as much as I used to. I used to write like all my lyrics down, but over time I've come to accustomed to like punching in and putting everything that I want to hear at that moment in that recording. You know what I'm saying? Just having 3 tracks, saying the bar, putting the overdubs, putting the ad-libs. I like hearing everything as I like go along because it motivates me to keep going rather than like trying to write it on paper, which is a little bit different because you can't hear yourself. And like my voice is honestly something that inspires me, like to keep writing at the things I can do with my voice.
Ooh. That's a burner right there. That's real. It's a trip because I feel like you know when I used to write, I feel like you can do more when you don't write because you can make it as complex because you can't get that down on paper. There's a lot of things you can't. There's a lot of tweaks and a lot of twists that if you try to get it down on paper, that's not gonna mean anything. But if you could literally just come up with it in your head and you say, oh, that little tweak right there is gonna be crazy. You can only do that. You can't write it.
Yeah.
So to hear that,
because like when you're writing, it's like when you're writing, you're also like making room for your like breath. Like you're trying to make it make sense for how you're breathing at the moment. Like when I recorded I Know, I didn't write anything. Lord, I didn't write nothing down like on I Know. Like I literally punched in like every single time. That's why it sounds like it's just like a train that's just running, like because I didn't write anything down. So I'm like a huge fan of like recording my music like that.
That shit is hard too. That's still one of my favorites, man. Woo! That's just one of my favorites. Oh, you out? Oh, you're back. Okay. So, so this could probably be off.
Yeah, I gotta call my bad.
Okay, no, I was gonna say this could probably be off the record, but when are you gonna be in the Bay anytime soon?
Oh my God, I want to be in the Bay so bad. Yes. So like, okay, I'm in Washington State right now, and like,
okay,
I'm so close to Seattle. I kind of just want to go see what's good.
Damn.
But I very much do miss the Bay. I feel like all of my family is like in the Bay, and I want to come back.
Oh man. Well, you in Seattle. I got one of my producer homies, Jake One, is in Seattle. So I mean, he's a beast. I'm sure you guys. I think I sent you a Jake One beat. I think I sent you some Jake One beats.
Did you send me his Instagram too?
Oh yeah, I'll link you on Instagram.
Cause I kind of want to see what's together. But
He's a
also I need to get back to Oakland so bad.
man. Well, it looked like the pandemic is.
I've been gone for like 2 years.
Damn.
Huh?
No, I was saying
it's been like 2 or 3 years.
Okay. So it's been like 2 years since you've been out here.
Yeah, like since I've been away from Oakland, and I feel like my heart is hurting a little bit.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I think by the time you touch back down, I think things will be in a doable state. Hopefully, it's a little bit, things lighten up. But as far as the art and the artists out here, everybody's still, a lot is happening. So by the time you touch back down, it should be something to run into. Like you'll have some things to get into. For real.
Right, definitely.
For real. But all right, I'm not gonna hold you. Thank you. Thanks for. So you say you're in Washington.
Thank
State.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out here.
So what's the mission out there?
Just getting the bread up right now. Just getting the bread up.
I can dig it. Well, man, we'll end it right there. On that note, getting the bread up. End it right there. I want to say thank you to Jaji Preme, one of the illest. I'm telling you. I know what I'm saying. I know. I know what I'm saying. But yeah, I want to say thank you for popping up. What's your Instagram and website stuff?
So my Instagram is currently JAJI period and 3 underscores. It's Jaji period underscore. And I'm working on my website right now, but I currently have a merch line that's connected to my music. And that website is going to be dragonseason.com, which you can find in the link of my Instagram, as well as, all that great music that I make. So thank you for having me. Thank you for the interview.
Oh yeah. Hey, this is just the beginning. We don't
sleep on your girl. You feel me? Don't sleep on your girl.
Hey, I'm hollering at you. Don't let them bees get to you. I might talk to you about that necklace too. We might have to have a discussion about that.
Okay, bet.
Right.
Okay. Hit me up.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.